Hey, how's it going out there? My name is Gary Peters, and this is my lovely wife, Kirsten Fleury.
Good evening.
We're coming to you at the Stage 4 and Us. Basically, what this is for me is I've been wanting to do this for a couple months, and what it is it's to tell some of my story of where I started, what it's like, what it feels like, a real down-to-earth, experience what chemo does to you and what cancer does to you. Yeah, perspective is what I'd be looking for. And that, it's a scary friggin' deal, to be honest with you. If you don't deal with it right. I mean, there's so much information out there that will overwhelm you. There's good doctors, there's bad doctors, there's always that second opinion, and then there's always that chance of somebody add more and more and more, and it was like that in my case. So to give you a kind of a brief summary, or what this was really all about, is the simple fact that a few months back, about 3 months ago, I had been diagnosed with cancer, and it all started back at the beginning of the year, about March or so. I noticed I couldn't go to the bathroom, and I brought it up to my wife, and we had some other medical issues pop up, and I had to take care of that first before we could go back to what the peeing issue was.
So in reality, he's been having issues with urination for years. I remember making jokes easily 5 or 6 years ago about prostate, because he peed constantly. He peed more than my grandma pees.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Yeah. 1 cup to every 10.
So it's been a really long process to get him to the point of figuring out what's wrong, and that acknowledging that something actually was wrong.
Yeah, and the only reason we didn't keep at it at the time was because I had a heart attack and had to turn around and get a stent put in and recover from that, which I did. I changed a lot of things about me, became healthier, went in for just a quick physical, because out here in Nebraska the winter is really cold and it affects my back. And I just wanted some shots for the winter, and I had a really good local doctor that happened to remember I had this peeing issue, and she asked about a blood test. She took a blood test, and the part from
a PSA.
Yeah, a PSA level, which was extremely high, and I'm not going to bore you with the numbers on that because it just takes too long to really explain it. But all I can really say is, for any guy that's anywhere from 30 and above, better get checked, because trust me, this came fast. This woman checked it, and when I went home, literally an hour later, a doctor's calling me saying, "Hey, I made you an appointment." Well, anybody that goes to the doctors knows that something's up when the doctor makes you an appointment. And from there, it became a...
First, we met with the urologist. The urologist confirmed that it was castrate-sensitive
prostate cancer.
Advanced prostate cancer. Then we found a referral to a oncologist who a coworker referred us to, and she said he was amazing. And so we went and saw him, and he basically did the spine
Sent me
biopsy.
off for a bone biopsy in my spine after I'd already had a prostate biopsy, and tested positive on a level. I tested a 9, which meant it spread, and that was pretty scary because that was the second time a doctor made appointments for me. And that's where I started to get nervous, and I'm not someone that really tends to get nervous about too much stuff, but it really kind of started to scare me because I didn't really want to hear what was going to happen. By the time we did meet this second doctor that took me on, which I think the place is great, once we got the painful fucking back biopsy, which again I don't really remember, but I felt it the next day.
So to clarify, they did a biopsy of his vertebrae, his T9.
T8.
Okay. And so then they confirmed that there was a spot there, a tumor.
Yep. And that it had metastasized. which that sucked, but in a way it was related to prostate cancer, so it took a scare away, because at this point, you know, for me, what the news I was going to hear was going to really suck already, but the news that me and my wife found out at home prior to the appointments, because the appointments were 2 weeks away from each other, and that kind of really made the anxieties high, was that the only two options we had was, one, that the tumor was prostate cancer, and I could at least get chemo and, expand my life a little bit without knowing really what chemo does to you. Or it happened to be another type of cancer, and it was just nothing. You can't keep up with it. You just rode the trip until, the inevitable happened, and that was the part that really tripped me out, because still taking into effect that, for me, this is still only 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks tops, that all of this just happened, all over me going to the doctors for typical physical type stuff, really, and it kind of shocked. After that, we finally met the doctor, and that's the day that the whole family went, and we heard that it was actually stage 4, castrate sensitive, metastasized prostate cancer, which is like that long, too much for me. And I honestly, I couldn't get past the castrate. That part fucked with me. I really couldn't understand it. I didn't want to understand it, because to me, oh, you're going to castrate me? And all it was they shut stuff off. And I worried about that, for a couple weeks. I didn't take a whole lot in. My wife did. She looked everything up from information. She looked all the stuff up. But for me, it was the anxieties. I couldn't sleep no more. My emotions had been off the chart, and is still off the chart. Like, one minute I could be happy, all by myself, and content, and then I could see something or hear something, and it shifts me, and it puts me in a really dark hole really, really quick, knowing that I had this one piece of paper that there was 2 choices on it. It was cured, or how do we get you to live with your disease? Well, I didn't want to live with a disease. I want to be cured, but I can't be. So I'm going to make the best that I can out of it, and try to deal with it in bits and pieces. But again, I still haven't dealt with it, and there's days that I bawl my fucking eyes out.
So
now,
part of that is the hormone piece, that they've shut off his testosterone, so the prostate cancer can't potentially grow. So that makes a huge difference.
yeah, and some just, and really me, being deathly scared of the fact that, how do you change from your life that you live in to how do you change to a life that you're going to just live for a short more time? The part that they're all good doctors, they all tell you the stuff that they're going to do for you, and they're going to do that for you. But they leave some stuff out that I guess I understand why they don't tell you, because every person, varies difference to difference. And mine was, I weren't ready for the chemo. I thought I was. And right now I've done 2 rounds, and I'll be getting ready in another week and a half to do my 3rd round. And for me, it's brutal. I'm not, the things that I noticed that's pretty quick was, and it was an observation, was when you're stage 2 and stage 3 and stage 4 cancer, people talk to you differently. And some days I take it offensively, and some days I just take it with a grain of salt, because I wouldn't know how to talk to a person, especially me, because I'm unpredictable. One minute I could be smiling at you, and you say something that just doesn't click with me. I could be angry, because I'm still angry at all of this. Like, the anger is just turned into rage some days. Rage turns into depression. Depression turns into, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. But being told the right stuff versus the paper stuff sucked because what I was told how chemo was going to be was, oh, this was entry level. You know, we're going to build your tolerance up because we want to do this. You know, and then underneath it's a list of side effects. And they're like, oh, most people don't hit that. I did. You know, the first week that I did chemo, I thought I felt good. The first 2 days I was with my wife, I actually went hiking. I was like, yeah, this ain't too bad. You know, and by the third day, I was on the couch. I couldn't get off the couch for a week. You know, it was like it hit me so fast with whatever it is they pumped into me that it killed me, wiped me out. My bones hurt in places that I never heard hurt. You know, my head was on fire. It's like having a woman's hot flash and you can't control it. I haven't slept in probably 3 months. I mean, I get various hours, but I don't get constant anymore. You know, the first big noticeable effect was my hands blistered up, but they're not blisters. It's like chemo wants to burn my layers of skin out from the inside out, and the rashes it gives me was intense. And I love my hands. That was everything about me, man. I was a jack of all trades, but the reason I could do this was because I had good hands. You know, and this it knocked me right out. You know, it depressed me. It hurt more than I've ever experienced anything in my life. And, you know, then you're pumped full of fluids. You're back in this room again, you know, and you hook back to a bag and you're looking around the room and, you know, and nobody wants to talk to you about it because they don't know how to deal with the fact that this is an end game. You know, stage 3, at least you got hope. You know, so when people got hope, they know how to talk to you because then they can be like, oh, you know, we hope you feel better. We hope that this is going to pass. You know, we hope that you and your family are doing good, you know. Whoa, you look great. I hope everything's well. Well, nobody knows what to say to me, and I don't know what to say to me. You know, so it kind of isolated me for a minute. It made me kind of really not want to be around, and ended up realizing that I can eliminate certain things, but I need that positivity, you know, and that through just the first round of chemo, it was my friends and the positivity that, you know, helped me do this. My wife's unselfish acts, you know, the watching me puke and watching me not be able to get across the room, or taking pictures of me for the first time when I can't get off a couch, when I can't even sit still, or looking at my feet because my feet hurt just as bad as my hands. Now, no, this is only the first round. First time of going through it and having to go back and get steroids and add more fluids and then come home and try to go from a coffee drinking, chain smoking, you know, THC loving person to eliminate that Powerade out the yin yang. I don't take meds. I never have, and I've been proud of that all my life. But that's my daily. You know, this is what was given to me right off the bat. Boom. I mean, my wife has made substitutes for the things that, you know, have helped me. Because Benadryl, fuck that stuff, man. I can't even get to sleep on that anymore. The stuff that happens from that, whoa, done. She's helped me try the CBD oil for the one time to see if we can just relieve some stress. Now, round 2, the chemo was painful. When you get it, it doesn't hurt. It's just the fluid that's there. The part that hurts is the room. The room full of people. You know, because I ain't alone. I mean, the nurses are really cool. I have my wife that sits next to me, and that kills me because there's going to be a time where she's not going to be sitting next to me because I ain't going to be there. And that's the fucking hard part out of all this. Whether it's the first chemo or the fucking 100th. Man, that plays with you. Try to wake up every day, you know, and be positive, or look at your family, you know, or the selfish shit that they got to do. Like my son, he's doing dishes because I can't touch hot water, you know, and I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Sorry, getting a little emotional, so I have to kind of steer the subject a little bit. Other than that, I will break down.
So we just want to kind of put our story out there, and we're going to kind of start the YouTube channel, and we have an Instagram going, Stage 4 and Us. So please definitely hop over there and follow us. I'm not techie yet, but I'm going to figure out how to start being able to put the little spots up that they talk about in the YouTube channel, so that'll be exciting. We are starting a group on Facebook for this as well, and we have a Twitter account, Stage 4 and Us, as well. So definitely follow us in our different social media accounts. We'll post different stuff and try to get different information out there, different research that we come across, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and you get a real down to earth, like, the biggest part about the YouTube videos that I noticed is I can't find any on Stage 4. It's limited. Like I said, when people know...
Pee Wee Tom, he's my inspiration for this.
Yeah, when people know that there's the end, I guess it's hard to put it in any of it into words, you know, because nobody's got it. I don't got it. You know, I don't know what to tell my kids, you know, any of that. All I know is how to explain what my day-to-day basis is. You know, and the one thing that I ask myself that keeps me going every day, and especially like now with the round 2 of chemo, the blisters are worse. My hands are more swollen than I can ever imagine. My arms hurt. I got it down the back of my neck. I have it around my eyes. Never mind the hair. The hair fell out the first 2 weeks, and not like a little bit. That was my first real crash of reality, was getting out of the shower. And it weren't that my hair fell out because I kind of knew it. It was the fact that I had to go out and ask my wife to help me shave it, because I didn't expect it. It was too much for me to be able to be like, whoa, 1 minute I had a crew cut and I thought I was going to hold it, to the next minute it was just blotches. And it wiped my character right out. Like, I haven't shaved in a month. Hair don't grow. And I have friends that are going through cancer that they have beards, they have hair, they're just a different stage, and I wished I was them, but, you know, I got these side effects right down to the T, and they just hurt. You know, I haven't put my shoes on in 2 days because I can't. You know, my feet are just blistered up. My wife has to rub me down every night. Or for the first time in probably 25 years or so that, you know, somebody had to help me in the shower. Literally. That hurt my pride, it hurt my feelings, because I couldn't put my hands, I couldn't turn my back to the hot water because everything was just amplified. Sleeping. You know, what's sleeping like? It's hard. An hour at a time, and wondering what part of your body's going to have hot flashes. And, you know, and when that happens, there's not much you can do about it. But, you know, we'll fill you in more and more as things go on. But for me, this is the real view of what it's going to be like. No filters, no bars, no... If you don't like to swear, and I'm sorry about it, but I didn't like how I felt that day, and I will try to contain it. But I'll try to give you as much information as I can. So please, you know, join the Stage 4 and Us. See what's going on, because this is, you know, you're going to watch somebody deteriorate, but you're going to watch them deteriorate with pride. You know, and like I said, I ask myself one thing every day. If you knew your fate, how would you want to live your life? That's a hard question. I know how I want to live mine. As much as positive as I can. You know, I might as well give out cheer to those that are just like me. You know, don't give up. Smile. Trust your partner, because your partner ain't going to leave you. And if you ever thought shit in your life was ever embarrassing, don't, because there's nothing to fear anymore. You already know what's going to happen. At least I do. You know, and it's scary. But, you know, from me and Kirsten at Stage 4 and Us, pay attention. You know, follow us. You know, there's all kinds of good information out there. Hopefully this will be the start to helping somebody else, you know, with the same questions as me. You know, it does hurt. It is painful, and it does change your life. You know, but just don't let it get you down and do something stupid, because, you know, you still have some life left in you. So live it while you can. Alright? Love you guys.
Thank you.
Peace.
I look forward to hearing your comments and your responses. Have a good night.